everyone, and welcome to the Impatient DIYer. Today's video is part of the Twine It Up August Challenge, which is hosted every month by Creations by Fanny, and this week it's being co-hosted by the Artsy Cupcake. The point of this challenge is just to twine it up, and I am so excited to show you guys what I came up with. And also, I want to show you guys a few things that I did when I was back in high school before I even knew YouTube was a thing. So I hope you guys are excited. For DIY number one, I am going to be making a wreath. So all I did for this one, super simple, was I took this jute twine that I found at Giant food stores. I think that's like a local Northeast United States store, but they had this huge roll, and all I'm doing is wrapping it around this wreath form that I found at the Dollar Tree. It's one of those 3 wreath forms, and I just like chopped it up and made it 3 separate rings. And there's no easy way to wrap this around this thing. There's absolutely no easy way, at least for me. If you guys know something, let me know. So you can see I'm just like taking the whole darn thing. I did hot glue every once in a while on this just to keep it in place. And then I cut it when I got closer towards the end just so I could have like a cleaner ending, and just hot glued it off at the end. And I didn't really care if it was kind of bumpy because I figured this is where I was going to put my flowers. So I was okay with it kind of looking funky. And also you can see it like warped a little bit, but I was able to round that back out at the end when I put it back on, when I put it on the front door, which is what this is for actually. This is my like almost fall front door wreath for the house. And I really, really like how it turns out. So once I get all of that kind of cleaned up and pretty, I took this wood pallet board thing from the Dollar Tree Crafter Square section, and I'm just going to be hot gluing this right onto here. And I'm using this as a platform for all of the florals that I'm going to be putting on here. I kind of wish I would have used something different, but then also like I feel like it turned out really, really well because it allowed me to make it a bigger piece without using more florals and more greenery than I would have had to. Let me know what you guys would have put here. You can see that I'm just hot gluing it right on here, and then I did actually use some hot glue to just kind of build up between the wreath itself and the wood board so it had more of a stable base. These are the flowers that I'm using from the Dollar Tree. I have the darker and the lighter sunflowers, and then just I took the leaves off of the stems of these and some other florals that I had. So I have some kind of darker leaves, some lighter leaves, and then I'm just going to be putting these on here. Now you can see that I did have the darker sunflowers out. I actually ended up not using them. I thought about it, and I really, really liked the simplistic look of how this turns out in the end. So I just cut like the tips, the like nubs off of the leaves, and then you'll see that I also do that for the flowers so that it's more flat and flush towards this board. And I'm really just placing these on here any which way, no rhyme or reason. Like that's how nature is, so I just went for it and hoped for the best. You can see there is some blank spots here, but they will be covered over by the flowers here in a second. And then I did like a little bit more hot gluing, you'll see, to really, really cover up all of that. So I cut off like the back so it wouldn't protrude again on the flowers. And so I started off with just these 3 in the middle. And this is honestly how I ended up keeping it. I thought I would like to have more flowers on here. I thought that I would like to do a little bit more, but I just fell in love with how simple and classic this looks. I wish I would have brought some of the leaves in a little bit closer there. You can kind of see on the right hand side, but oh, so cute. So here you can see I'm kind of playing around with the darker flowers. I do not like it. I was very, very surprised. I thought I was going to absolutely love having the darker flowers in there, and I did not. So because I didn't have as many flowers, I needed to kind of use some hot glue, finagling, some hot gluing of leaves on the back to make it look a little bit fuller, kind of give it an illusion. You can see like the wood, if you're looking down onto the flowers like that, you can see the wood, but when this is hanging on the door, I don't think you can see it at all. I think it looks really cute. it's like a maroon door, so I really think that this popped out really well. And there you can see, like, I took the bent out. Sorry, my light was terrible. I was using natural light, and it was just not good. Sorry about that, guys. But I really think that this popped. I think this is a good transition piece from like August to fall. So yeah. So now I want to show you guys some things that I did from high school. Before I even knew about YouTube and crafting and everything, I was like, I'm going to DIY this. So these were 3 vases that I just wrapped in twine. I filled it up with some dried beans from the grocery store, and then I found these florals on sale at my local, I think at that one time it was like Joann's or something like that. And this is something that I twined up. I also did this lamp. This is one of those ugly old lamps. I spray painted it white, painted the board white. I also did the same with this lamp, wrapped everything in twine, and then the room is like greens and yellows and whites and twine, and that's kind of the theme that I went with. And I did all of this before I knew that like doing this was a thing. But I really like how, and you can see it's old. It has been through some stuff, but I really like how all of that turned out. I wanted to show you guys. So into DIY number 2, this, I took one of these round kind of boxes from the Crafter Square, the same twine that I used on my wreath, and I'm just going to wrap this in twine, and I'm going to hot glue everything on the bottom. And you'll see here that I'm going to do everything with the box like flat on the table so that I can kind of push it into the box and the table at the same time, just so that I'm creating that nice kind of flat base layer for the twine. So as I go up, it's not going to be uneven. Well, that was the plan. It still ended up uneven somehow. I don't know what I did. It's fine. Maybe the box was uneven. We'll say that, yeah? The box was uneven. It wasn't my fault. But I just wrapped this thing in twine, and I did go 1 layer up over the top, so you can't really see the top as much. And then this is going to be another floral piece, and I really like how this one turned out as well. It's in the front entryway, kind of right next to the wreath, so it's kind of got like a theme going. I always cut off my twine on an angle at the end so that I can kind of blend it in and it doesn't stick out as much. I don't know if it works, but I like to think so. Got half of this foam piece that I had from the Dollar Tree, and I was like, I'm just going to push this in. And I wanted to get it super snug, and then next thing you know, it just kind of like popped and some of the foam came off. So, but it still works. I cut these a little bit longer so that I could play with them, see where I wanted things to be. I really hate their tags. Does anyone else hate their tags and how much they don't like to come off? These are from Dollar Tree, by the way. But sometimes I feel like I smush their tags and then I can't cut them off, and then I fight with them, and it's just no fun. And on this one, I decided to take the darker flowered leaves and put them on the lighter flowers so that it's all the same kind of color, because I felt like the lighter ones spoke more spring and these speak a little bit more fall to me. And I just put these in wherever I thought that they looked nice. And this is something that you'll be looking at kind of from below when it's in the house. So I tried to make sure that the bottom was super full and fluffy and pretty. So yeah, that's how that turned out. Not perfect, but nature's not perfect. So I am learning to be okay with that. Once I got all of those in, you'll see the next step that I take is I am going to take another piece of twine and kind of make a little bit of an accent to it, I think. I don't know. For me being like not perfect, it took me a while to adjust these because I can't help it. I try so hard. So this, I'm just going to take an additional piece of twine. I got this paint at the Dollar Tree. Some water, plastic cup, any kind of plastic silverware to stir. And we're going to dye this twine. I just wanted something to pop out from just a plain wrapped twine thing. So I'm actually taking a bunch of different paints and mixing them, but I wish I would have just used that paint that I got from the Dollar Tree. So this was the color that it kind of turned out, and I just stirred it for, I don't know, maybe like 20 seconds. I don't know, we could count, but it wasn't very long. So I turned this and kind of tried to wring a lot of the water out on the side of the cup there. And then I just took my hot glue gun, which I use a whole lot, but I kind of cut it out in my videos. But I want to show you guys, I took my hot glue gun and I dried this. I was afraid that it was going to dry like hard, so I tried to dry it in a circle. And then I'm just wrapping this around the middle, just like that. And I did hot glue it on, I think, like the whole way. No, I didn't. I didn't hot glue it up the whole way on this one. I just did at the beginning and the ends because it was sitting in between two of the other pieces of twine so that it had kind of like a shelf to sit on. I did end up having to use a bunch of hot glue on this one. So this is the back of the piece. I thought that this kind of brought out the darker orange color a little bit more, a little bit more fall-ish and not so plain. This is what it looks like sitting up on a shelf in our entryway, and I think it's really cute and good to get ready for the fall. So I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope I'll see you guys back again next time. Bye for now.